Nationally, community colleges and technical schools are seeing a renewed interest as more students weigh affordability and workforce opportunities.
And here in Northeast Wisconsin, both technical colleges and four-year universities say they're seeing that shift and adapting to it. Students across the country are rethinking the traditional four-year path as costs continue to rise.
One of the biggest reasons was definitely because of the tuition rate. It's definitely a little bit lower than a traditional four-year school, and that really made college feel a lot more possible for me.
Leaders at Fox Valley Technical College say affordability and workforce demand are driving that interest.
Well, I don't think there's a day goes by that I don't have a conversation with an employer who is begging for talent across our region.
Many students now choosing to complete their first 2 years at a reduced cost before transferring to a four-year university.
They can complete the first 60 or so credits here at Fox Valley Tech at a much reduced cost compared to either a state UW school or one of our private education partners.
At UW Green Bay, leaders say transfer students have long been a part of their campus.
Half of our graduates are actually transfer students, and that's something that we've seen for a long time.
University leaders also point to affordability and access as key priorities.
Affordability is super important. I think it's on a lot of students and families' minds as they're thinking about higher education.
And for some students, the traditional four-year route is leading directly to job opportunities.
Secured my job in the middle of January, and I don't graduate until May.
And many of those graduates are staying in the region.
75% of our students stay within the local region after graduation, so they really are making an impact.
Both flexibility and affordability are expected to continue shaping how students pursue higher education here in Northeast Wisconsin.